Imagine coming home from work exhausted but excited to see your person. You open the door, step into the quiet, and immediately something feels off. He's not there. No note, no text, no goodbye. Just his wedding ring sitting on the table. That's the story TikTok wife Megs found herself in. One day she was married, the next day her husband had vanished, no explanation, no message, just his ring left behind like a silent mic. This wasn't just a story about a relationship breaking down. This was a mystery, a heartbreak, and an online investigation that unfolded for thousands to witness. One video at a time, she turned her pain into a TikTok series, and what started as a simple missing husband report turned into one of the messiest, most emotionally charged sagas on the app. Let's break down the story of how Meg's marriage ended, not with a fight, not with a divorce, but with a man walking out quietly and leaving chaos behind. It all started in illusions. Meg's, a TikTok wife with around 1100,000 followers, came home from work one evening expecting the usual, a hug, a hello, maybe a quick conversation about how the day went. But instead, she walked into silence. No footsteps, no TV in the background, no smell of dinner, no even noise from the dog. Just a weird stillness in the air. And on the table, his wedding ring. No notes, no explanation. Just that ring sitting there like a full stop at the end of a sentence she never got to read. She tried calling him over and over. Texts went unanswered. His phone rang and then went dead. She checked his job, nothing. She checked the school where he was supposed to be doing his finals, still nothing. She even called his family, hoping maybe they knew something didn't, or at least that's what they say. And let's be clear, this wasn't some kind of dramatic fight where one person storms out for a night. This felt like something serious. Megs went straight to the police and filed a missing persons report. At this point, she genuinely thought something horrible had happened to him. Her face in the first video she posted, you could tell she was breaking. Her hands were shaking and she could barely keep her voice steady as she explained to viewers that her husband has disappeared. She was trying to be calm, but you could see through it. She was scared. She kept asking, what should I do next? Like she was hoping a stranger on TikTok could somehow solve the case. And it gets worse. They had just moved to a new town. She left her whole support system behind. Her family, her friends, everyone. She had no one but him and his family in that area. And now, even he was gone. That kind of isolation, it messes with your head.
Here's what happened from hours 0 to 6, I think. Okay, so actually let's back it up even further than that, okay? I dropped him off at work, and when I was leaving, it was not a really good conversation. I basically was like, I'm scared if I have to go back home for something, then when I come back, I won't have anything here for me. Like, I'm scared that you're gonna leave me one day, because we'd been having issues. He'd been acting different, and we'd been having issues, and I didn't really know what the problem was. And then we never spoke again. While I was at work, I made it a point not to text him, because I was like, I want to see if he texts me. You know what I mean? Like red flag number 1, thinking that about your husband. He never texted me. So around the time he was supposed to get home from work, I checked his location to see if he had made it home, and he had. And like 30 minutes later, something just told me to like text him. So I went to go text him, but I saw that he'd stopped sharing his location with me, and that really stressed me out. And so, I texted and called him and everything else, and I knew in that moment so badly that something was going on. So I get home, and sure, he was gone. I walk in, and I was expecting to see him pretending to be asleep on the couch or in the bed or something, you know what I mean? And he was gone. After that, I called people in his family to see if they knew where he was. They were very distraught, you guys. They did not know where he was. We were all very worried. We were like genuinely on like wellness check mode. Like, where is he? Is he okay? Like, at this point, I wasn't believing he could be with someone else. I really, really was believing like he's got to be hurt. He's got to be somewhere doing something in pain.
Every hour felt like a lifetime. All she had was a ring and 100 unanswered. She couldn't sleep, and honestly, who could? Every single night felt longer than the last. Megs would just lay there staring at the ceiling, her mind running in 1,000 directions. Was he safe? Was he hurt? Was he hiding? Or worse, was he with someone else? She kept checking her phone, hoping he would text. Nothing. She scrolled through their old messages, watched their wedding videos again, replayed every fight in her head, wondering if one of them had pushed him to the edge. She was thankful they didn't have kids. She said out loud in one of her videos, because how do you explain to a child that their dad is just gone. No warning, no goodbye, just disappeared like he never existed.
Know that I need to protect myself in that sense. But other than that, I don't have much of an update. Like you guys, he's gone. He's ghosted. I don't have much to say there. He's supposed to work this evening, but do I have the energy to crash out again? Also, somebody called the corporate office of where he works and told them about the infidelity and everything going on their clock, and kind of demanded that some things happen. It wasn't me, but that happened. So who knows if anybody will even have a job here soon.
But the more time passed, the more she started piecing together patterns. She couldn't sit back anymore. She needed to do something. So she came up with a plan. Her husband had finals at school, or at least he was supposed to. She knew he took his education seriously no matter what was going on between them. She believed deep down that he wouldn't throw that away. So she woke up at 4 in the morning, no makeup, hair still in a mess, drove all the way to campus and parked right outside the building. She waited for hours early. She didn't want to miss him if he showed up even a second earlier. She sat there watching every car, every face, hoping, praying, and as the minutes passed, hope slowly drained from her, and then it hit her. He wasn't coming. He didn't care about the finals. He didn't care about closure. He had fully, truly walked away.
It's officially been 10 hours since I got home and saw that my husband left me because he just up and left. No word, nothing, ghosted me. My husband ghosted me 10 hours ago. I'm remembering to drink water because I can't cry anymore because I'm out of tears. So hopefully this helps replenish. In case you missed it, we're sitting in front of his school to see if he shows up for his finals. He does have a past of threatening to do scary things to himself, and I'm worried, even though the signs show that he went home to someone else. I understand that. A piece of me also feels like I will eat myself alive if I'm not here, and I miss out on what I feel like right now is my one chance to make sure he's okay.
This wasn't a break. This wasn't a fight. This was abandonment. And she was finally starting to feel the weight of that reality. As she looked around, little clues started coming together like a puzzle pieces she never thought she would need to assemble. The first one, the trash. Before he left, he took it out. At first, it seemed like nothing, but now it felt eerie. Almost like he was tying up loose ends. People don't usually do chores before vanishing unless they know they are not coming back. Then, she checked what he had actually packed. Not much at all. Just 3 pairs of shoes, a few basic clothes, and his toothbrush. That was it. No laptop, no important documents, no photos, not even sentimental items. It was like he wanted to disappear quietly, not leaving a trace of himself behind.
It's been 8 hours since I came home and discovered that my husband has left me, and now we're sitting in front of his school waiting to see if he comes for his finals today. I know this is literally insane and pathetic, and I'm not planning on speaking. I just want to see that he's alive. I am genuinely worried, and I want to see who dropped him off. But here's some things that he did when he left that don't make much sense in my brain. He took his toothbrush, but not the charger for it. No toothpaste. He took all of the in our house, but not the grinder or the things to use it with. He took the trash out of the trash can. He left his wedding ring. He took 3 pairs of shoes and a few outfits.
The biggest red flag, he didn't take the dog. This was a dog he adored, a pet he treated like his child. He walked him every day, fed him the best food, and talked about him like family. And now that dog was sitting by the door, waiting for someone who wasn't coming back. That's when people started wondering, was this really the missing person case, or had this man simply walked out? Not because something happened to him, but because he didn't want to be there anymore. Even Megs had to face the question. As much as it had, she started admitting it out loud. They had just started couples therapy a few days before. Maybe he already had 1 foot out the door. Maybe he felt trapped. Maybe he was done pretending.
Finally going to get that coffee. I made a therapy appointment. I have therapy in 3 hours. He has none of my banking stuff. He took my card to the police station, gave it to them, said, I don't want anything to do with her. I'm not missing anymore. Take me off the list. And for everybody saying, why am I not crying? I'm sorry. I'm already embarrassing myself enough. I don't really think I need to sob. I'm doing plenty of sobbing in between updates. Yeah, he told the police he doesn't want to see me ever again, basically. He left his dog with me, and that's happening. And this is actually crazy. I posted literally the first video at like 3 o'clock this morning, and now like my friends in real life are calling me being like, is this real? Are you joking? Like, you guys, thanks for thinking I'm so funny and creative. This is real life. And Shonda Rhimes could be inspired at this point. Like, I'm sorry if you guys don't like the jokes, but I have to say them.
But instead of having a conversation, instead of ending it the right way, he ghosted her. No goodbye, no final talk, no closure, just silence and an empty space where her partner used to be. And this is where the story starts spinning. Days went by. Meg turned from a grieving wife to a full-time detective, and TikTok was her evidence board. She shared that her husband had a history of mental health struggles, so part of her believed he might be in danger. But another part of her, let's call it instinct, knew there was someone else. That's when a name popped up. Alexis, a woman Megs believed her husband might be with. Megs didn't hold back. She called Alexis, asked her straight up if she was with her husband. Alexis said no, but admitted she knew where he was. And that was it.
So we need to make some clarifications here. Alexis is the actual mistress. Someone I thought was the mistress told me that. Okay. Alexis, no. She's the one that has an 11-year boyfriend relationship that she's still my husband with. He didn't show up to class. So there's that. Then I went to their work. They work together. I talked to their store manager, kind of apologized for the scene I caused in there last night, which if you guys want to know what I did last night in the first 6 hours, let me know and I'll tell you. When that didn't work, then I went to her house. Then I saw that he had unblocked my text messages. So then I sent him pictures of her house. And I was like, hey, you can come get your dog and give me my debit card back. And also, if that doesn't work, then Sean, her boyfriend of 11 years, he could probably do it for us. At this point, I'm kind of spent. I'm not sure what to do next. So if anyone has any suggestions, I can't sleep still. So another coffee, or what do you guys think?
That little confirmation was all Megs needed to go full spiral. Because now, it wasn't just a missing case. Now, it was betrayal. She told TikTok that Alexis wasn't even single. She had been in an 11-year relationship with another man named Shane. So, if her husband really did leave her for Alex, he had just thrown away a whole marriage for a woman who wasn't planning to leave her boyfriend. Megs was furious, but also still heartbroken. She started showing up to his job. She caused a scene. She admitted to it she wanted answers. But the workplace had nothing to say to her. They shut her out, no help, no closure. So she did the next thing she could think of. She pulled up to Alexis's house. Let's pause for a second. By now, it's easy for outsiders to say Megs was doing too much, that she was overstepping, acting out, maybe even crossing boundaries. She shouldn't have. Some viewers started calling her obsessive. Some said she was harassing Alexis. Some even claimed she was turning into the villain in her own story. But here's the thing, grief doesn't come with a guidebook. When someone you love disappears, when the person who promised to build a life with you vanishes without explanation, the ground underneath you shifts. It messes with your head, your heart, your sense of. Megs wasn't just reacting to a breakup. She was reacting to betrayal, confusion, abandonment, and she was doing it all in real time, with no one in her corner, no friends nearby, no family, just her and a phone. So yes, maybe she did too much, but can we blame her? She was devastated. Her entire world crumbled into a matter of hours. And sometimes, when you don't get answers, your mind won't let you rest until you find them, even if it means going places you never imagined you would go. Because at the core of it all, Megs wasn't trying to start drama, she was just trying to understand. She was hurt, deeply. Her whole life flipped upside down in one day. And all she wanted really was to know why. Eventually, her husband walked into a police station. He turned in Meg's debit card like it was a library book he was done with, told them calmly and without hesitation that he was safe, and then, in the coldest words she never got to hear from his own mouth, he said he wanted nothing to do with her. No explanation, no offer of closure, just a firm "I am done." Just like that, it was official. He wasn't missing. He wasn't in danger. He had simply walked away on purpose with full awareness of what it would do to her. That crushed her. The man she thought she would grow old with didn't even want to speak to her face to face. He went out of his way to make sure the first time she'd hear anything solid would be through the police, like she was some stranger on the outside of his life. Megs broke down when she shared that part online. Not on camera though. She said she cried a lot between texts. Those sharp cuts in her TikToks, they weren't really stylistic. Little breaks she had to take to make sure she wouldn't fall apart completely in front of thousands of strangers. She didn't want pity. She wasn't looking for people to baby her. She was just wanted to be understood, to feel like someone out there could relate, that maybe someone else knew what it felt like to be erased from a life you helped build. And more than anything, she wanted people to see that this wasn't content, it was her real life unraveling in real time. Megs finally decided to go to therapy. She had reached her limit. The sleepless nights, the spiraling thoughts, the online investigation, it all took a toll on her mental health. She was heartbroken, exhausted, and overwhelmed. She said she could keep pretending to be okay. The weight of everything had piled up too high.
First thing I want to say is to everyone saying this seems like a staged prank or like bad content or something like that. No, like I understand. I feel the same way. Unfortunately, this is just like genuinely my reality right now. I wish the cameras would come out. I wish it was fake. Like I don't know how else to explain that this is like literally happening to me in live time, and how I'm coping with it is what I'm showing you. I never claimed to be like the role model of like what to do when your husband leaves you. This is just what I've done since my husband left me. I came home, I did some journaling, I thought about it, and I deserve better than what I had. And I'm not treating myself any better than what I had. So clearly no one else is going to do it. No one else can do it. No one else wants to do it. Whatever it is, I like literally I have to move on. I know that, you guys. I know that. Thank you for being patient with me literally having public crash outs and for still supporting me, because that's some crazy, crazy stuff.
She admitted that their marriage wasn't perfect. There had been arguments, moments of silence, counseling sessions that felt like band-aids over bullet wounds. But she never expected him to walk away like this without a single word. It wasn't just about the end of their relationship, it was about how he chose to end it. She changed the locks not out of hate or spite, but out of fear, out of self protection. She didn't want him just waltzing back in after turning her world inside out. The door now symbolized her boundary, a line she wished he had respected before disappearing. And her husband, he might be facing consequences of his own now. Rumors started flying, and people online weren't staying silent. TikTok users, complete strangers, began calling his workplace, dropping the details of his affair and the chaos he left behind. His job, once protected in anonymity, was now part of the public mess. What started out as a quiet crisis between two people had exploded into something bigger, a full-blown internet scandal. What was once just heartbreak had become spectacle, and Megs was stuck at the center of it, trying to heal while the world watched. Megs wasn't done yet. Something in her refused to let it go. Maybe it was the injustice, maybe it was the lack of closure, or maybe it was just that part of her that couldn't stand knowing someone else might go through the same heartbreak without warning. She started hunting for Shane, Alexis's longtime boyfriend. She believed he deserved to know the truth. In her mind, he was just like her, a person in the dark, being lied to by someone they trusted. She imagined what it would feel like for him to walk through the door one day and realize his girlfriend had moved on behind his back. So she took it upon herself to warn him. But tracking Shane down wasn't easy. She wasn't active on social media, no mutual friends, no clear trail. Megs even admitted to checking gas stations near Alexis's area, hoping she might randomly bump into him. That's how far her desperation had reached. When that didn't work, she shifted gears and started looking up Alexis's family. That's how she found Alexis's aunt. On Facebook, she messaged her, laid it all out: the affair, the missing husband, the heartbreak, the TikTok saga. She was hoping the aunt might step in, talk some sense into her niece, or at least acknowledge what was going on. But the aunt, she didn't care. Her response was short, cold, and dismissive. She told Megs that Alexis was 21 and could make her own choices. No sympathy, no concern, just a shrug. And that crushed Megs. It made her feel like the whole world was turning a blind eye to something that had flipped her entire life upside down. In her mind, she wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was the only one trying to do what was right. Anyone else, it seemed, had already moved on. Eventually, Megs admitted she had to let go. There was no dramatic final message, no sudden burst of closure, just a quiet moment where she realized she couldn't keep chasing someone who didn't want to be found. She told her followers she deserved better, that all the energy she had been pouring into finding answers now had to be used to rebuild her life. She was done chasing, done crying, on and off camera, than begging for respect from someone who had already decided she wasn't worth the truth. She said she was going to start over, not because it was easy, but because staying stuck in that pain would have destroyed her. But here's the part that still stings. Legally, they're still married. His signature is still tied to hers in paperwork, even though emotionally he's been long time gone. One day, they'll have to face each other in court. And the question that hangs heavy, what will happen then? Will he look her in the eye and apologize? Will he show even a flicker of regret? Or will he sit across the table and act like none of it ever mattered? She let the internet watch her crumble, investigate, and rebuild. People followed along like it was a series. But to Megs, it wasn't entertainment, it was survival. Sharing was her way of coping. When she had no one else, TikTok became her outlet, her therapist, her community, even if half of them were strangers. Was she messy? Absolutely. Was she emotional? Without a doubt. But was she also painfully honest? This wasn't just about a breakup. It was about being left behind, about having your life rewritten by someone else without warning, about waking up one day and realizing the person you knew best just didn't want you anymore and did nothing to help you understand why. She never got her closure, not a call, not a conversation, not even a text. But what she did get through every painful upload and every awkward comment was her voice. She found the strength to speak her truth, no matter how chaotic or uncomfortable it sounded. And maybe, just maybe, that's more powerful than any apology could ever be.